Okay, we are watching today the final round of the Tucmani Club Dojo Wars. We've got Dark Knights Germany against Girthy Grummels. We've got quite looks like Grummels are bringing out their strongest members. I don't know a lot about DK, but let's go ahead and watch Funkyhao's game and see what's going down. Okay, we see here Funkyhao is running his funky special aggro team, and Emanuelo looks to also be running some kind of an aggro team. Aggro versus aggro matchups are very intense. I like them a lot. We've got the Valash Kinu opener against Inky and Tolkien. Inky and Tolkien. You guys can see my my mouse here. We're doing second round of bans. Funky ends up banning Rolder. Great ban. It's a strong opener. It's a strong pivot too. And Emanuelo is going to ban... Maybe a Tolkien ban? Unless he sees something... This is weak to grass. This is weak to everything. This is weak to... He does go with the Golzi ban, which will let him play Ahi. Starts with the Gario pickup. Here comes the Tolkien and move flank. Just generally good Tems. Ahi has a good matchup against Valash, Kinu, and move flank, so it's definitely a power player in this game. Powerful Tem on this board. And he's gonna pretend and click Wolfie first. I respect it. There's the Ahi pickup, and then we end up with a Hedgen. So that Ahi is actually well positioned in this game. Let's see if we can get some use out of it. We are showing up with Inky. That is Illuma Inky, Illuma Valash. Very powerful Tems here. Very fragile Tems. Both able to attack each other very hard. Valash actually can only do neutral damage to Inky, and Tolkien. This Kinu is under a lot of duress because it is not only on fire. Oh, but we are seeing Valash, the Kinu coming out with morale boosting whip and protector, meaning that this Valash has already +1 defense, special defense, and speed. Not insignificant. He is going to pull out the Valash. We're probably going to see a double swap from Hao, I'm going to guess, because that Kinu is really very, very dead to a double. The Inky, anticipating the swaps perhaps, is going to swap into a Gario. He's already planning ahead. And actually, Funkyhao just leaving in the Kino, even though it was very killable. Gets a beta burst off onto Tolkien. Tolkien does a half damage wind burst, which still does 30% damage. It did as much damage as the Kinu did. That's pretty crazy. Gario still has one turn of evasive, meaning the next attack that hits him, he will dodge it. We've got two Tolkiens. Tolkien is weak to the water from Gario, and the Kinu is weak to the fire from Tolkien. So are we going to see more swaps from Funkyhao here? It looks really like a nice position Emanuelo is in here. But he did keep in his Kinu last time, even though it was under a lot of duress. We could see the double on the enemy Tolkien, on Funkyhao's Tolkien. Kinu does have Resin Trap here. And that does do quadruple damage to Gario. So we are seeing Funky's Tolkien Fiery Soul to take off Gario's evasion. And here comes a Resin Trap, which is quadruple damage. It might one-shot. Gario does barely live. 2% HP calculated. Cold Geyser comes out. Does really good damage to Tolkien. My goodness. Only reason the Gario lived there is because Emanuelo burned the Kinu with his Tolkien. Really nice play there. That turn definitely goes to Emanuelo, but let's see the return fire. Funky getting out a Valash here, who does heal. If it is a scavenger, which I believe it is, it will heal 17% of its health every time it sees a Tem die. And there's a potential for 2 Tems to die this round, so we might see that that Valash heal up a little bit here. I'm not even sure how it took that much damage. It's probably, I think it has taken literally just damage from Marbles procs. It's taken 2 Marbles procs so far. So Valash is going to Crystal Dust. High prio move. It does finish off the Gario. We see the Kino come out with a sacrifice. He really wants this Valash to be very powerful. It has +4 defense, +4 special defense now. It tanks the Fiery Soul, which is super effective, but still only hits Valash for 38% of his health, 40% of his health. So Valash will take 3 super effective hits to go down, which is quite a lot. Tolkien doesn't even have the stamina right now to do 3 super effective hits, although he can probably do Fiery Tornado, which has a much higher damage coefficient than Fiery Soul. So that is threatening Valash. Although Valash can heal. The rest of Emanuel is in a pickle here, because the rest of his board cannot deal with Valash. If this token goes down, Valash is free to just sweep the rest of the board with his immense bulk and scavenger trait. So we do have a Hedgen come out. Very fast digital fire Tem. Not super great onto this board against Wolfie. Although the fire is neutral damage against Wolfie. Hedgen does not have access to really great fire techniques turn 1. So it will need to survive a turn on the board to unlock Hellfire. We do see the swap in for the move flank. All he needs to do is pressure out this token, get this token down, and Hedgen can win the game. We see a Plasma Beam come out, burning the Wolfie, reducing the damage it deals, but it is still hitting move flank for a good amount. We do see the Fire Tornado we were talking about earlier come out. It just extinguishes this move flank. Sacrificial goat, if you will. But now Valash is free to rampage off for a little bit, because this token has no stamina, and the swap-ins are Inky and Ahi. And Ahi will die to a crystal move, and Inky will still take a does it still take double damage? Is Crystal resistant to Crystal? Let me see. Let me see. Crystal is not resistant to Crystal, so both of the swap-ins for Tolkien take double damage from any crystal move that this Hedgen does, or that this Valash does. So Emanuelo is in a pickle here. You're definitely going to see an all-in on the left slot to either kill the Tolkien or kill whatever swaps in, because I'm pretty sure a double would kill no matter what. Probably like a Harmful Microwaves and crystal spikes or whatever. Okay. Token swaps out. In comes the Inky. It's about to get roasted. If Hedgen actually opting to Plasma Beam the right slot, reduce the damage that Wolfie can do, and yeah, this Valash just one taps the Inky. And actually, the Wolfie would have killed Hedgen if Hedgen didn't Plasma Beam there. The Plasma Beam burning the Wolfie. So really good call there to burn the Wolfie. Tolkien is back. He's no longer exhausted. He actually has quite a bit of... Man, do they rest when they're in the back line? They rest. You regen quite a bit for one turn. 30%? Huh. I don't know what the rules are, how much stamina the Tems regen in the back. I'm talking regen quite a bit. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Because this Valash is probably going to just end the game. Here comes a Fire Tornado out. Roasting. the poor little Hedgen. Tolkien does a tornado, trying to isolate the Valash. The problem is Valash is just healing. He even heals from his allies dying. And this Tolkien has no strength left in the tank. Valash getting a madness buff off, sacrificing 30% of his HP for 75% more damage. Yeah, this Valash will 100%... it could probably one-shot Ahi before the buff. And now that it's been madness buffed, this Ahi is not long for this world. It might be faster with the Fiery Soul if it has it. It might be faster, but the fact that Valash has +1 speed means it's probably not faster. So this is pretty much all she wrote. Crystal Spikes coming out. Ahi surviving, a very tanky Ahi. That's a surprise. Valash is laid low by the Quetzaleno. And did he OX? Did he OX? He does have a sweatband. I do not know if he OX'd. I'm actually super surprised that Ahi survived that. It wasn't double effective, that's why. Ahi's fire resistance, Ahi's fire typing compensating for its psychic typing, meaning that it's only neutral effective against the Valash. So Valash is going to hit Ahi again. It will kill Ahi. The question is, can he die? Will he die from Tolkien before he hits the Ahi? Fiery Soul, Quetzaleno, and Crystal Spikes. If Ahi had Fiery Soul, it might have been different. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I don't know, actually. I think Tolkien does do. Brought it down to like, yeah, I think Tolkien will kill with a Fiery Soul here. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure if the Fiery Soul we saw was before or after the sacrifice. Crystal Dust does come out first. Finishes off the Ahi Tuna. Fiery Tornado comes out. Does this kill? Oh! Oh! Valash lives! Tolkien OXs. Valash now has 2 turns to blast the Tolkien for half damage. And one more Crystal Dust should do it. Wow. That game was close. GG, well played. Alright, we see Grummel's winning 3 of the rounds so far. Dirk and Pillaris are still playing. Let's see what's going on in Dirk's game. We're on turn 9. He has 3 Tems, and he has 3 Tems. Kivenski. There is a Chocobo called Choco on the board. Dirk has no fire to deal with it. I believe Chimurian, the Chocobo, is resistant to water. It is resistant to lightning, grass, and psychic. It's not resistant to wind. And it is not resistant to crystal. The Madrid coming in with the Crystal Deluge, putting the Chimurian to sleep, but it is going to take a super effective Water Blade, which will lay it low. This is looking pretty dire for Dirk. The matchups here, not great. Barnchi is very resistant to poison, so it can deal with this Calibus. But the Calibus will get some toxic damage onto the Ukama, which is going to... Excuse me, it's going to cause issues. And when that Chimurian wakes up, it is going to end that Barnchi with a Crystal Plume Gatlin. So we're going to see the Barnchi come out, do a tornado onto the Calibus. Hopefully this does just oodles of damage. It does. It does. Ukama pulling out the turbo. I didn't even know Ukama had turbo as an option. That's pretty interesting, actually. Unfortunately, the Calibus does get an opportunity to cast Toxic Ink hitting Ukama for a good amount of damage. Oh, and the Diabolo! Oh my god. It's just backbreaking. He didn't finish off the Calibus, so the Calibus's surprise has a Diabolo, which procs, healing the Chimurian. That is unfortunate for Dirk. If he had chosen to just strike the Calibus, he might have killed it, and I don't know that we'd have won, but he is sad that that Diabolo procced, I bet. Man, Diabolo. What an item. I gotta get that on my teams, man. I gotta get a Diabolo on my team. It seems just so good. You get these really tanky pivots, and you just throw them in and... Tsunami comes out. Does not finish the Calibus, which I'm sure Dirk was hoping for. This Calibus is a Live Lord. Gets the CPG out. Ends the Barnchi. Here comes the Toxic Ink. Ends the Yokama. Good night. GG. Alright. +1 for Dark Knights Germany. Good job, Kivenski. And Gagbomb did win against Deliara. So, Dark Knights Germany, we saw their one win. They're down 1-4 against Girthy Gremmels. And I'll catch you guys next round.